The Mr. Matlala, Vusi Matlala, is one fellow that has been enjoying too much privilege from the law enforcement. And the typical example is that one of, or at least few of his vehicles, not talking about the number, but it's a couple of them, 4 or 5, the number will be confirmed through the report. His personal vehicles were registered by the Deputy Chief of Police at Ekurhuleni, that is Major General Mkhwanazi. He facilitated the registration of these Mr. Matlala's vehicles under the municipality as if they are municipality official vehicles, utilizing the funds from the municipality of Ekurhuleni. So the vehicles then belong on record, when you test them on the system, they reflect as if they belong to municipality. It did not end there, commissioners. He took these vehicles and he caused the municipality to take the blue lights that belongs to municipality. The blue lights are supposed to be for the law enforcement vehicles within municipality, and he fitted those blue lights in these vehicles. And these vehicles were then given to Mr. Matlala. I must indicate, in terms of the Traffic Act, the only authorized bodies to be able to drive with blue light on the streets are law enforcement, which would include SAPS, the Metro Police, Traffic Police, as well as the military police of the defense. They are the only one authorized by law to make use of these blue lights. And even the utilization of the blue light is somehow regulated, that you cannot just willy-nilly use a blue light. So it's an emergency light, it's a warning light. But this was not only done by Matlala privately to the service provider, but it was done by law enforcement of Ekurhuleni. And to confirm this, there is a report that is available, because this complaint comes from the chief of this municipality. When he registered the complaint against this, told, according to his words, he was suspended because the principal at municipality did not want him to pursue this investigation against his junior. So he provided this information, and he brought this to the attention of his executive in municipality, city manager. It will appear that not much was done to the person that was responsible for this, despite the fact that the law was broken. So that's what I thought I must just indicate, covering mass lights starting from 214 up until the next page, where I'm indicating that the complaint from the chief of Metro Police at Ekurhuleni ended with IPD, the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, that are charged with the responsibility of investigating the criminality that is caused by the police in the line of their work. The IPD conducted this investigation, and there's a report that the IPD produced to Ekurhuleni, a report that makes recommendations to the executive of Ekurhuleni for them to take action against this Major General Mkhwanazi, who is a deputy chief responsible for operations at Ekurhuleni.
That I think deals with
the
issue of Ekurhuleni and the blue lights.
Yes,
right.
And that up to 219.
Then you introduce a new
on my statement
issue there, starting from paragraph 220.
Yes. I must indicate, commissioners, that that report of IPD is classified. So part of it will need to be declassified so that the commissioner will have an insight on it.
And before then you move on, all the declassified documents that have been identified in the witness statements have been listed, and we are seeking the declassification thereof. And as soon as that is obtained, we shall make available then these supporting IPD reports. Thank you.
On paragraph 220, onward, Commissioners, I wanted to draw your attention to, or demonstrate before this commission, that there is other involvement of police officers. An example that I'm putting here is one police officer from Johannesburg Metro. This police officer is a very close associate of the arrested Mr. Molefe. On the 5th of February 2025, this Metro Police officer, Johannes Nhlanhla, who works at JMPD, he deposited a statement, an affidavit, during the investigation that was conducted by GCI Ops following the arrest of Mr. Molefe, which happened on the 6th of December last year. So this is him explaining in his own affidavit that he deposited. The reason for the team to approach him and ask him to deposit an affidavit is because of his presence during the arrest of Molefe and the role that he played on that day. I'm going to quote on what he says on his affidavit, Commissioner, on page 7222 on my statement. In this affidavit, Officer Nhlanhla states that he became acquainted with Warrant Officer Michael Puletau, a former member of the South African Police Detective Branch, Johannesburg Central, who is an accused with Mr. Molefe in the Ekurhuleni murder case of Mr. Swart, as a fellow police officer during 2008. So it is him who's admitting that he's close friends with both of the suspects on the Ekurhuleni case. Through him, that is the detective, he was introduced to Mr. Molefe, with whom he struck a close relationship over time, and they established direct contact. He says, I understand that Warrant Officer Tau resigned from the service after he was arrested and charged for murder of Mr. Swart. What he stated under oath, Commissioners, is that on the 6th of December, the day where Mr. Molefe was arrested, he reported on duty, and while he's on duty, he received a phone call from Mr. Molefe, who was complaining about a suspicious vehicle that was parked on the street next to his house. And he immediately proceeded to Molefe's residence. And he fetched Mr. Molefe, and they drove to the vehicle that Molefe was suspended, which means he transported Mr. Molefe with his own vehicles, not knowing whether it's a state vehicle he was using, or municipality vehicle, or his private vehicle. It doesn't indicate it. But he fetched Molefe, and he drove with Molefe to the suspected vehicle. And he took note of the car's registration number. And with the use of the ACPS system available to him, the system that he has an access to, he then used that to check the registration number of this vehicle in order to establish who is the owner of the vehicle. He then got out of the car and he approached the occupant of the vehicle and introduced himself. And thereafter, he went back into his vehicle, and then he informed Mr. Molefe that the vehicle is a police vehicle. And after that, they drove back with Mr. Molefe, and he dropped him off at his home, and he went on with his patrols. And then he says, on the very same day, later, Mr. Molefe's son, Neo, informed him that Mr. Molefe was arrested on the same matter that Officer Tau was arrested on, which is a Vereeniging case. So as I said, Commissioners, that the team that is investigating, that took this statement from him, they will come before this commission and they will explain in details about the role of this member. But my problem I have with him, other than knowing the person, but start doing the favors of the person, that becomes a problem. In that he then go and test the vehicle to establish the ownership, and he goes and brief his friend or his associate to say, oh, this is a police vehicle, so don't worry about it. That is the first concern that we have with regard to this officer. So which means he then he uses his advantage position of being a traffic police officer to advance the interest of Mr. Somlefe. There are many other things that are contained on the statement, and also to confirm, Commissioner, whether on the day was he on duty or not, officially, that he claimed he was on duty for. The team that is going to come will come and explain further to the Commissioner that what have they discovered, whether was this man actually on duty on the day when he claims that he was on duty, or he was not on duty. He might have perhaps provided the wrong information. And that is as far as I want to leave in as far as the Metro Police is concerned.
Thank you, General.
Sorry, before you leave that, General, paragraph 228 of your statement.
Yeah, Commissioner, if I may read this one on the record, where it says that he also renewed licenses for vehicles at Mr. Molefe's request, for which he will receive gratification. So Mr. Molefe will ask him to register the vehicles, and he will do that, and of course, there will be a reward coming from Mr. Molefe in that regard. So the affidavit that he wrote, we attached it here. Although it's handwritten, I hope the Commissioner will be able to see as marked MK18 on the annexures of this individual. So we want to demonstrate, Commissioners, that a police officer of his status is indeed conducting himself in an unprofessional manner, and the unlawful conduct of abusing the state resources as well as his position as a police officer in order to benefit his friends, in this case, Mr. Molefe, is what makes us reach a conclusion that these are some of police officers within the Metro Police that are playing part to supporting the work or the illegal activities that is done by some criminals out there. So this is basically where I'm going to end with regard to the two. I must indicate, as I said, there are many other law enforcement officials that I did not necessarily include in the statement. Commissioners, you will recall I had mentioned during the press briefing, and it is a public knowledge already, that in one instance, Mr. Matlala was found with a cell phone inside prison, inside the correctional facilities. For obvious, he was not supposed to be in possession of such, and such a cell phone was facilitated by individuals within correctional service to get to him because they have access to it. But I must thank the Commissioner of Correctional Services, because on the day when we addressed the nation on the 6th of July, the Commissioner called me because after watching the address, he felt that he must send officials, the credible correctional service officials, to go and inspect this detained person, Matlala, and to go and inspect his cell and search him. It is when they did that, on the direction of the Commissioner of Correctional Service, that they found that cell phone. So the Commissioner then contacted me directly, and he said he himself, as a senior officer within the criminal justice system, within law enforcement, He doesn't have much trust on what's happening now in this area. And he says, sure, for sure, someone brought in this cell phone and facilitated for this cell phone to get to the suspect or the detained person inside. And I must make sure that I send someone I trust to go and fetch and collect this cell phone. So that's when the team, GCI Ops team, went to correctional facility and they collected that cell phone from Mr. Matlala. And I'm not going to get into the details then what was extracted on the phone, but the mere fact that he had the phone inside the correctional facility, it then implicates some officials within the system. But fortunately, it's the same department with the credible officials that are working within the system, supported by the commissioner that help us to retrieve that phone.